Hello, chess friends. Welcome to Analyze Our Games Part 28. This game I'm gonna show you is a very nice example of unbalanced positions. How sometimes we get uneven positions and uneven material, so it's very hard to analyze, to calculate during the game. But yeah, we have to work with these positions to learn how to handle them in the future. So I played black, my opponent played c4, I played f5, so I opted for the Dutch. This is also called Anglo-Dutch. Then my opponent played g3, e5, I went for the most direct move, e5. Maybe this transposed into the English game, yeah. So e3. Here it's possible to play bishop g4, bishop g2, and knight f6. Okay, but we didn't play this. Then I played knight f6, bishop h3, attacking my pawn. I defended it. It's also possible to play d5 here, and then if takes on d5, then I take with the queen, and even black is a little bit better because of the development. But that's okay. I played this because I've been studying the Leningrad Dutch for some time. During that time, that's why I opted for this. Okay, so after g6, my opponent played knight e2, and I wanted to fianchetto my bishop, so I played b6, but c6 is also possible. So after b6, bishop d2, c6. Now I have to block this diagonal. It's also possible to play knight c6. So c6, b3. Now my opponent wants to fianchetto his bishop. Then bishop b7, bishop b2, queen c7. So I defended my pawn here. Um, it's also possible to play queen e7 because this bishop is not gonna take part in this. It's not gonna use this diagonal. It's gonna be fianchettoed here. So it's nice. It's the same. I sometimes play the queen here because I want to defend my bishop on b7. It's usually an unprotected piece because here white is gonna castle, and then the bishop is gonna be protected by the king, but not in this case. So I think it's an even position here. Then castled. See, I played bishop g7 because I want to castle and develop my last piece. Yeah, to be equal in on equal terms with white. My opponent here played queen c1. I don't know why. Maybe because he wanted to put his rook on d1, probably, or even advance c5, something like that. It's also on this position. In this position, it's also playable knight b c3. That's okay. And then after queen c1, I castled. d4, again, it's possible to play knight b c3. Then I would play knight a6, developing my last piece and connecting the rooks. d4, in case of d4, e4, and we got an equal position. And maybe if white doesn't play well, I'm gonna put this knight on d3, and it's gonna be a very good position, promising position for black. So after d4, now I know that it's better to advance, yeah, but I defended it just to keep my pawns centralized. And we have an interesting variation here, that's c5, then b takes, d takes on e5, uh, d takes on e5, and queen takes on c5. after knight b7, queen c2, and rook ac8. Now, as you can see, this pawn is attacked by the bishop, by the queen, and maybe by the rook, and this pawn can be vulnerable in the future. But yeah, we don't know yet. Maybe I'll have to advance it or do something to defend it. Okay. But after knight b c3, I developed my last knight. Yeah, now the rooks are connected. White also is well developed. And it's an equal position. Sometimes it's possible to develop the knight through a6, so this is good. But white usually plays a6, so then I have to remove the queen and try to develop the knight through c7. Okay, after knight b7, my opponent played d5. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit better to play queen d2, because queen c1 was not a good move. And now white is fully developed, and black is fully developed. So we got an equal position here. d5, frankly speaking, sometimes we don't know if we advance the pawn or if we take the pawn. I took it, and here my opponent could have taken here on d5. Then I would develop my knight to c5. This is a very good square for the knight, especially because it aims to go to d3, especially after e4. Okay, and my opponent tried to attack my queen. Okay, no problem. I played queen b8, defended the pawn on d6. Then my opponent took. I took here, but it's not good. I think it's better to, yeah, I think I analyzed this with Stockfish, so a6 is better. After knight bc3, a5. Yeah, maybe thinking about developing the bishop to a6 and getting control of this diagonal, moving the knight to c5, and then trying to plant this knight on this square here. That would be very nice. Okay, so bishop takes d5 is not good. Bishop takes check, knight takes, queen d2. Also possible could have been queen c6. Then after knight 7 f6, knight takes. Then I try to attack the queen and take some advantage from this knight that is attacked here by the queen. And then check here. I would move this knight to d5. Bishop attacks. I take on d6. Bishop takes. Queen takes on b4. Queen takes, check, and king h8. And white is a little bit better, but nothing much. I think it's gonna be a draw here. Okay, so queen d2, attacking my knight. I played knight 7 f6. Rook ac1 is a mistake. I think it's better to play here. Yeah. So this is a mistake. It's funny because it's a very common theme. Yeah, you take control of the columns. Yeah, but in this case it's not good. a6, knight bc3, and I took on c3. It's not good. It's crazy to say it, but it's better to go back and avoid the exchanges of pieces until I got d6 well protected. Then it's okay. I can advance also, play d5 or do something. But taking here is not good because it develops the pieces, white's pieces. Is it better to take with the knight or with the rook? Yeah, it makes more sense to develop to take with the knight, yes. Okay, but my opponent took with the rook, and then I wanted to play this fork here. Yeah, but this is not good because my opponent would check on d5. So I played king h8. Now it's possible. Yeah, but better would have been to play rook f7. Yeah, now there's no check. And also because this rook protects the 7th rank. Okay, so king h8, rook c6. Yeah, see, my opponent saw this threat. Now if I attack here, it's not a double. So then I defended my pawn with rook d8. Maybe better is to play knight e4, queen c2, queen b7, rook c1, and we have an equal position. Rook d8 defending. I didn't know what to do. Bishop a6, a3, and then one more attack. Then I had to move. It's also possible to play knight e4, but sometimes we are a little bit afraid of this because f3 is coming, so I don't know. I'd prefer to move. It's an equal position. That's okay. Rook f c1, rook d7. After the game, I thought, man, maybe that was the mistake because I opened up the chance for checks here. But as I told you before, unbalanced positions sometimes are not the end of the world, and you have to know how to play against it. e4, knight e4 is good, queen c2 is okay, equal position. So I played this rook d7. My opponent attacked the pawn, very good. I had to move the pawn, and he checked here. And it looks like a correct move, but it's not, because then I can take the two rooks, and it's strange, although it may seem, this position is better for black. Yeah, so it's funny because of these pawns. Yeah, this is gonna be um, a passed pawn. So, and then my opponent played here. Okay, attacking this pawn. Here, instead of defending, yeah, sometimes we defend too much. We make mistakes. We defend the things, and I played here. It looks logical, yeah, but better is to play d4, because in case of taking on a6, then I can attack the knight, yeah. And if my opponent took on here, then I take here, and now I have a passed pawn. There's a check. The knight goes back and protects the king. Queen e8, attacking the rook. Now I would attack the bishop. Bishop b4, d3. Oh, my pawn is very dangerous. Knight f4, d2. Now the guy has to sacrifice the bishop. I would take the bishop. a4. I would take here, and black is better. Black is better. There are some problems with the knight, the king, yeah, the protection of the king. But as soon as the king is free, is safe again, black is gonna win. So okay, but this of course didn't happen during the game. I made this mistake. I played rook c6, and here my opponent had some chances. Yeah, so he played knight c3. It's also queen d2 and black is better. Bishop b bishop b2 and black is better. Okay, so black's better anyway. Good, so knight c3, d4. I told you this guy is gonna march forward. Opponent took, I took, and here he sacrificed this pawn. Very good. Um, what is better than taking on? I don't need. So see, this is one thing that we have to analyze during the games. Calculate. So why did I take on b5? No, because we have check here, and this rook falls. So don't worry, don't retake. Yeah, play d3, and here black's gonna win quickly. Yeah, because let's see what are the options here. There's no check. White can't check. White can't take any of the rooks. No checks. This pawn is gonna march, march, march. Yeah, if there's any crazy move like this, yeah, we have d2, we have rook c2, so we have many options. So, but yeah, unfortunately, I played a takes b5 without analyzing. So we have to analyze. We have to learn, analyze, analyze. And then, okay, my opponent checked here. Good. I played the only move. Knight g8. My opponent took rook d8. Is it the best option here? Rook a7. Yeah, a7 is good. Maybe here's a little bit better. Yeah, then I could take here. Yeah. Now white is better, unfortunately. So very quickly, very easily, we can throw away a very good game. So we have to analyze, we have to analyze. Rook d8. Is white much better? Yes, white's much better here. Queen takes, queen takes. Now I can advance my pawn. That's the good thing. Bishop c1, yeah, of course, trying to block. d2. Now my opponent has to sacrifice the bishop. There's no other way. Bishop took, rook took on d2. Rook took on d2 and c4. This is a mistake. Why is it a mistake? It's better to advance the pawns. Yeah, it's much better to advance the pawns. Rook d8, trying to defend. Rook d7, then we can... White is better here because these two pawns are gonna be very, very hard to stop. So, queen c4, bishop d4. According to the engine, it's a mistake. Why is it a mistake? Because king f1? Yeah, it's a little bit difficult because if I take here with a check, this pawn is gonna be loose. So yeah, then bishop d4. I played. My opponent played a4. See, the pawns are gonna be very dangerous. I checked here. Crazy. King King g7 guarantees the equality. Maybe there's gonna be some checks, but black can do something to protect the king, yeah? Yeah, we have to be alert. Imagine if we play king h6. Then we have check here with a double. Oh man. So bishop takes f2 check. It's not good, it's a mistake because of this. Now the the rook and the bishop are gonna be attacked simultaneously by the rook or by the king, and this is gonna make it very hard to defend. Bishop d4, yeah, it goes back. And now it's better to attack the rook. Now the rook can't go anywhere. Yeah, so you try to defend. There's a check and the double here. A horrible position. Very difficult position to play against the queen, because the queen is very powerful. So if you leave your pieces unprotected, you're gonna lose them. Knight f6. So my pieces are slowly getting out to attack the king. You're gonna see a6 is also a mistake, because now my knight goes to the middle of the board, and I have some chances of getting a winning attack, or getting or mate, or even get the chance of double with a rook or the bishop or the knight. The knight's a very dangerous guy. And then my opponent played here, trying to checkmate. It's a very interesting situation, yeah? So black is in a dilemma. You have to checkmate, yeah? Because the next move, white checkmates. So yeah, in these situations you have to analyze and think, do I have to defend or do I have to go and attack? So I played this rook f2 check. Yeah, my opponent played this king e1. There are some positions here, but king g1 is usually better. There are some checks here. King f2. Oh, it's very dangerous here. Yeah. So imagine if white plays like this. Then we have a double on g5. So it's very dangerous, man. These positions are very dangerous. If he plays this, I can check again and check again, and it's a draw. Yeah. If my opponent plays this, I can do something. Is it? See? Now black is winning because of this double attack. Yeah, so sometimes we don't want to draw, but then we lose the game. Watch out for this. So my opponent played this, king e1. Then I checked here. Yeah, king d1. There's no other way. So instead of going to the queen side, uh, white's king should go to the other side, to the king side, and accept the draw. I think it's theoretical that queen versus rook, knight, and bishop is a draw. Yeah, but It's hard. Sometimes you have the queen and think, no, I'm gonna win this game. So rook d2, check. Now if my opponent goes back, now I have this check. Yeah, it's a discover check. King e2, and then I take the queen. So black wins anyway. Then my opponent didn't want to go to the discover check. He went to king c1. Then we have bishop here, b2 check, and there's no other move. My opponent played king b1 and knight c3 checkmate. This was a very interesting game. Yeah, so I was about to get mated here. Yeah, so if the queen goes to f8, it's mate. Yeah, if I start defending, like opening uh, a room for my king, my opponent can draw or can even win, get all these 3 pawns. So that's the lesson from this game. When you are in a dilemma, try to attack, try to find a winning attack. Don't stop. Go ahead and win the game. Okay? So thank you very much, my friends. Let's keep studying, let's keep playing and learning and improving our chess abilities. Take care. Thank you very much.